Yellowstone, a national park in the United States, is not just a nature reserve. It's an entire universe lost in the heart of the Rocky Mountains. Here, where the sky merges with azure lakes and emerald forests give way to steaming geysers, there is a unique atmosphere of majesty and pristine beauty. Imagine a valley flooded with the gold of the rising sun, where emerald meadows burst with flowers and majestic peaks covered with snow can be seen in the distance. Thousands of hot springs flow in this valley, creating bizarre landscapes. Geysers spewing columns of boiling water, mud cauldrons gurgling like a secret witch's potion, and thermal pools shimmering with all the colors of the rainbow. Yellowstone is home to the soul of wildlife. Here you can find herds of mighty bison, graceful elk, and wary wolves. Eagles soar through the sky, watching for prey with keen eyes. Yellowstone isn't just geysers and animals, though. It's also canyons cut by raging rivers and waterfalls falling from the heights of the clouds. These are the forests where bears hide under the canopy of mighty pines, and foxes prowl in search of food. Traveling to Yellowstone is a journey through time, to a world where man has no control over the elements. It's an opportunity to experience the perfection of nature, which rules here indiscriminately. Come to Yellowstone Park, and it will forever remain in your heart as a hymn to the pristine beauty and majesty of nature. We continue our journey through Yellowstone Park with the back basin of Norris Geyser, a secluded corner of Yellowstone that offers an atmosphere of tranquility and solitude. Here you'll be enchanted by a palette of colors ranging from bright orange and rusty red to soft pink and sky blue. These colors are created by thermal springs rich in minerals. Stroll along the wooden decks laid out among the thermal springs and enjoy the peace and quiet of this place. Here you'll find many geysers, hot springs, mud pots, and fumaroles. That is, volcanic fissures that are the source of hot gases, each of them with a unique beauty and charm. The back basin is home to the mud volcano, the most acidic body of water in the world. Its pH is 0.1, which is comparable to battery acid. One of the most famous geysers in the area is the Steamboat Geyser. It erupts every 5 to 10 hours, sending out a jet of steam and water to a height of upwards of 100 meters. That's the height of a 33-story building. The back pool is where microbial fossils have been found that are 3.5 billion years old. The back basin is an important site for scientific research. Scientists study the geothermal processes occurring in the Earth's interior. The back basin of Norris Geyser is a must-see if you want to experience the beauty and power of nature. Walking through the pool is not only a visual experience, but also an aural one. You'll hear the hissing and gurgling of geysers, the gurgling of water in hot springs, and even the rumblings of the mud volcano. During the day, you'll see these incredible sights, and at dusk, the geysers and hot springs are lit from within, creating a magical picture. At the back pool, you'll experience not only the beauty, but also the tastes and smells of that place. The air is filled with the smell of sulfur, and in some places you can taste the thermal water, which is said to have healing properties. This area is home to many animals that have adapted to living in geothermal activity. You can see bison, elk, deer, and birds nesting in the thermal springs. Exploring the pool area is a comfortable and exciting journey. Wide boardwalks are laid throughout the grounds, allowing you to move safely and comfortably among the thermal springs, geysers, and mud pots. You can see puffs of steam rising from the ground. It's not smoke, but vapor saturated with minerals. And it's not a health hazard, but it gives the area a special atmosphere, making it seem more like a fairy tale world. Staying in this area is not only about exploring the geothermal wonders, but also about enjoying the beautiful scenery. You're surrounded by coniferous forested hills, creating a sense of seclusion and peace. Back Basin is a relatively small area that can be explored in 1 to 2 hours. Walking the decks requires little preparation and is suitable for people of all fitness levels. The pool is open to the public all year round, but it can get very cold in winter. Wear comfortable shoes and bring water with you. Do not go beyond the decking or touch the water in the thermal springs, as it can be very hot. Feel yourself stepping onto the boardwalk, and the scent of sulfur envelops you. You'll see puffs of steam ahead, and there's a gurgling and hissing sound from the ground. You'll walk past geysers spewing columns of water and mud pots bubbling like boiling pots. In the distance, you'll see pine-covered hills with snow glistening on their tops. You can stop to take a photo. At that moment, the sun will appear from behind a cloud of vapor, casting a golden light all around. Exploring Norris Geyser Basin is more than just sightseeing. It's a journey into a world where the beauty and power of nature reigns supreme. You've arrived at a place that will live long in your memory. Come to Back Basin and discover a world full of wonders. Paint a picture in your imagination as you walk past colorful springs, each with its own unique hue. Snow-covered mountaintops appear in the distance, and a geyser erupts on the horizon, throwing a column of steam into the sky. This is not a quirk of your imagination. You will truly feel an inspired delight once you are in the artist's Paintpots. Artists' Paintpots are a group of geothermal springs that have different colors and shapes. They're located in a wooded valley surrounded by mountains. To visit this area, you have to follow a wooden trail that leads to a high point that overlooks the entire area. The name Artists' Paintpots reflects the variety of colors and textures of the springs, which resemble the paints in clay pots. The colors of the springs depend on the temperature of the water, the composition of the minerals, and the presence of thermophilic bacteria. Some are vibrant shades of red, orange, yellow, green, and blue, while others are more dull and gray. The shape of the springs also varies. Some are deep sinkholes filled with boiling water, while others are flat pools with a thin layer of water. There are also springs that contain thick mud that erupts in the form of bubbles or jets. The Artists' Paintpots is one of the most active geothermal valleys in the park. It's constantly changing due to seismic activity, precipitation, and temperature fluctuations. Some springs may disappear or reappear, while others change colors and shapes. This area is also a habitat for different kinds of animals and plants. Elk, deer, squirrels, birds, flowers, grasses, and mosses can be seen here. However, animals and plants must be adapted to extreme conditions such as high temperatures, acidity, and toxic water. Despite being a popular tourist attraction, artist Paintpots has an atmosphere of tranquility and solitude. However, it's more than just colorful scenery. Here you'll find a variety of thermal springs, geysers, mud pots, and fumaroles, each of them with a unique beauty and charm. One of the most famous geysers is the Black Cauldron, named for the dark color of the water, and the Yellow Cauldron is striking for its rich lemon color. Palette of Colors is a place in Yellowstone Park where nature creates its unique masterpieces using minerals and thermal springs instead of colors. Yellowstone National Park is not just a reserve where you can see geysers and wild animals. It's also a place where there's something for everyone, whether you're a nature or history buff, or just want to have a great time. There are plenty of activities waiting for tourists and travelers in this wonderful park. Such exciting entertainment includes, first of all, excursions, which can be divided into walking, bus, and winter. Walk along the picturesque trails among geysers, thermal springs, mud pots, and wild animals. You'll get inexplicable pleasure from this excursion. Bus tours can give you the opportunity to see much more than you can on foot. You can see the park's main attractions in one day, and experienced guides will explain the history and geology of Yellowstone. There's plenty of fun to be had on a winter hike in Yellowstone. Take a snowmobile tour through the snowy expanse of the park and spot bison, elk, and wolves. The Yellowstone Authority widely distributes its educational program to tourists, and it includes evening lectures that introduce visitors to the wildlife, geology, history, and other interesting aspects of Yellowstone. The Junior Ranger program helps children learn about the park's nature and history. And the Yellowstone Forever Institute offers a variety of educational programs such as field courses, workshops, and online courses. Other memorable activities await travelers to Yellowstone. You can spend time at the historic Old Faithful Inn, which offers a variety of restaurants, bars, and evening fireside gatherings. Or spend some time at the Canyon Lodge, where you can enjoy all the amenities of civilization, including a pool, game room, or movie theater. You can start exploring the park by visiting the Yellowstone Information Center, where you'll be given all the information you're looking for. You can also check out the park's museum and find much more to explore. In addition to the above, Yellowstone has many souvenir stores, cafes, and restaurants. There are several local souvenir stores in Yellowstone National Park where you can buy gifts and souvenirs that will remind you of your visit. The stores sell t-shirts, caps, mugs, magnets, postcards, books, maps, and more. Yellowstone has several cafes and restaurants where you can grab a snack or lunch. The menu ranges from pizza and hamburgers to salads and sandwiches. When you're hungry, check out some of the places we'll tell you about. These are the most popular cafes and restaurants inside the park. There are 2 restaurants at the Old Faithful Inn. The Old House Cafe serves more simple food like pizza, burgers, and sandwiches. The Obsidian Dining Room treats you to a more upscale fare. The Lake Lodge Cafeteria serves a variety of hearty and delicious meals, such as salads, soups, pizza, hamburgers, sandwiches, and desserts. The Canyon Lodge Cafeteria offers the same dishes as the Lake Lodge Cafeteria. Finally, you can grab a bite to eat at the Mammoth Hot Springs Dining Room, which prepares more gourmet meals than the cafeteria. However, be prepared for prices in Yellowstone's gift stores, restaurants, and cafes to be slightly higher than the U.S. average. A separate area of cultural entertainment for visitors to the park have been the numerous festivals. Yellowstone has long hosted various festivals that reflect the culture, history, and nature of the park. Let's tell you about some of them. The Yellowstone Bird Festival is an annual event that takes place in early June in the town of Gardner, located at the park's north entrance. The festival gives participants the opportunity to observe the different species of birds that live in Yellowstone and learn about their behavior, diet, and protection. The festival includes tours, lectures, workshops, contests, and fun for the whole family. The Yellowstone Music Festival is an annual event that takes place in late July in the town of Cody, located at the park's east entrance. The festival is a celebration of music from a variety of genres, including classical, country, jazz, and rock. The concert brings together musicians from different countries and states, as well as local talent. You'll be able to enjoy concerts, workshops, jam sessions, and parties. The Yellowstone Star Festival is an annual event that takes place in mid-August in the town of West Yellowstone, located at the park's west entrance. It's dedicated to observing the stars and other celestial bodies that are visible in the park due to its dark skies and clear air. The festival includes opportunities to attend tours, lectures, workshops, and visit the planetarium. Telescopes are also available for tourists to study the celestial luminaries. As you can see, Yellowstone is not just a quiet nature reserve. It's always bustling with life, tourists, and cultural events. Come and see for yourself that Yellowstone National Park is a place where everyone will find something to interest them. We have come to the unique attraction of Yellowstone, a true wonder, the boiling river. The name is not a metaphor. The water in it really is boiling. The water temperature is so high that it boils and gurgles like a boiling kettle. Only it's not happening in your kitchen, but boiling and gurgling huge bubbles throughout the whole river. In front of your eyes, there is an absolutely amazing and incredibly beautiful spectacle, seemingly impossible on Earth. A boiling river is not just a name. It is a hymn to the elements where water dances its fiery dance. It doesn't flow like other rivers, but flows like a boiling cauldron, spilling a unique symphony of steam and spray across the Yellowstone Park plain. Like an artist playing with a palette, the boiling river changes its hues from emerald to azure to milky white. It mesmerizes with its fickle temperament, then gently washing your feet, then burning your hands. Along the river there are fanciful terraces, as if they came from the paintings of surrealists. Snow white like statues, they contrast with the bubbling azure. And in the distance, like guards, mighty geysers rise up, spewing columns of steam into the sky. In this dance of the elements, there is room for life. Animals, adapted to the hot water, scurry back and forth like sparks in a fire. And along the banks, as if mesmerized, wander wild animals that come to quench their thirst in this living spring. The boiling river is not just a place on the map, it is a portal to another world, where the primordial beauty and power of nature reigns. It is a symphony of elements, a hymn to fire and water, a poem written by nature itself. The boiling river is not really a river, but rather a stream flowing through Yellowstone National Park. It gets its name because its temperature ranges from 54 degrees Celsius to 93 degrees Celsius. The river is formed by the confluence of two springs, the Gardner River and Golden Gate Creek. Gardner River is a cold river, and Golden Gate Creek is a hot river with temperatures reaching 93 degrees Celsius. The boiling river forms at the confluence of these two rivers. In some places, the river's water temperature is low enough that you can swim in it. In other places, however, the water is so hot it can be dangerous to humans. Did you know that the boiling river is the longest hot river in the world? The river is home to some wildlife that has adapted to living in hot water. The boiling river is part of the Yellowstone caldera, which is one of the largest supervolcanoes in the world. Bathing in the warm water of Boiling River is an inexplicable pleasure for which masses of tourists come to visit this river. You'll experience the effect of a warm hot tub. However, if you want to swim in the Boiling River, be sure to check the water temperature prior to entering the river. The vegetation surrounding the Boiling River is different from the flora of other areas of Yellowstone Park. This is due to the unique conditions created by the hot water. Along the banks of the river you can see vegetation such as thermophilic algae. These algae adapted to living in hot water and give the river its characteristic bluish-green color. Grasses and shrubs. Some vegetation, such as sedge, cypress, and willow, have also adapted to life in a hot environment. Lichens. Lichens are generally resistant to extreme conditions, so they can be found in this zone. Away from the river, where temperatures are cooler, grow coniferous forests, mostly pine and spruce trees. Meadows, including grasses, flowers, and other plants that grow in meadows. Deciduous forests, aspen, birch, poplar, and other deciduous trees are also found there. Interestingly enough, there are no fish in Boiling River, but there are several species of insects that have adapted to life in hot water. The Boiling River is home to the larvae of some species of aquatic insects, such as brook flies and mosquitoes. Some species of cyanobacteria can also survive in hot water. The Boiling River is also called the fire hole, which reflects the fact that the river often boils and steam rises above its surface. The fire hole is about 34 kilometers long and 6 to 23 meters wide. Its temperatures vary from 5 to 92 degrees Celsius depending on the season, weather, and distance from the source. The Boiling River is part of Yellowstone Park's water system, which includes rivers, lakes, waterfalls, and geysers. The Firehole River flows into the Madison River, which is a component of the Missouri River. The Boiling River is a destination for tourists who want to see an unusual natural phenomenon. The Firehole runs through several attractions in the park, such as the Lower Geyser Basin, the Fountain Geyser Basin, and Midway Geyser Basin, home to the famous Old Faithful and Grand Prismatic geysers. The Firehole River is very popular with tourists. People come here to see this natural wonder and swim in that incredibly warm water. For tourists, Yellowstone Park is also convenient because there are plenty of places to stay. Stay there for a few days and see all the sights while you're there in peace. Accommodations include hotels and lodges, among them Old Faithful Inn. This historic hotel is located near the Old Faithful Geyser. Lake Yellowstone Hotel, that offers rooms with lake views. Canyon Lodge, located in Yellowstone Canyon, offering rooms with canyon views. Mammoth Hot Springs Hotel, in Mammoth Hot Springs, offering rooms with thermal springs views. And another option for convenient lodging is camping. Yellowstone campgrounds include the Madison Campground, located in the center of the park and offering over 200 sites. The Canyon Campground. This is located in Yellowstone Canyon, offering over 300 sites. Bridge Bay Campground, which is located on the shores of Yellowstone Lake with over 400 campsites. And the Grant Village Campground, located in Grant Village with over 400 campsites. Another very comfortable lodging option to consider are cabins. Xanterra Parks and Resorts offers lodges at various locations throughout the park. Yellowstone National Park lodges are available at Old Faithful, Lake Yellowstone, Canyon, and Mammoth Hot Springs. Ranches are fairly exotic lodging, but that makes them no less comfortable. The park has several ranches on it, including Yellowstone Valley Ranch, offering campers country-style lodging and activities. The Lazy U Ranch, a ranch for campers of the same type. When choosing an overnight stay in Yellowstone National Park, you should consider your budget. Lodging prices in Yellowstone can be very high, so it's important to do a little planning. Preferences. Decide if you want to stay in a hotel, lodge, campground, cabin, or on a ranch. The time of year. Some lodging options are only available in season. And planning is so important. Choose a lodging location that fits your plans for visiting the park. Accommodations in Yellowstone Park book up quickly, so it's important to book early. You can do that online or by phone, and it's advisable to do so as early as possible. The earlier you make reservations, the more likely you are to get the spot you want. Be prepared that you may have to pay a deposit. Read the reviews about the different accommodations before booking. Now, all that's left is to choose the most convenient accommodation available and get ready to experience Yellowstone National Park. One of the most memorable things about Yellowstone Park are the animals that live there. Let's tell you about some of them, starting with bears. Yellowstone is home to two species of bears, grizzly bears and black bears. These mighty animals are an integral part of the park's ecosystem. Known for their massive size and sharp claws, grizzlies are the true kings of Yellowstone. Their mighty silhouettes through the forests and meadows are mesmerizing and awe-inspiring. Black bears are more modest in size than grizzlies, but no less fascinating. Curiously, these subspecies of brown bear have some pretty significant differences. Grizzlies are omnivores. Their diet includes berries, fish, elk, and bison. Black bears are mostly vegetarians, eating berries, nuts, insects, although if they get a taste for carrion, they will not refuse it either. Both kinds of bears hibernate for the winter. Grizzlies hibernate for about 7 months, while black bears around 5 months. Female bears of both species give birth to anywhere from 1 to 3 cubs, which stay with their mother for up to 2 years. People should always be careful around bears. Although they usually avoid humans, encounters with them can be extremely dangerous. Therefore, it's important to follow safety rules in Yellowstone Park to avoid provoking a bear attack. The animal's diet depends on the time of year. In spring, grizzlies eat carrion left over from the winter, hunt moose, bison, and other large animals, and eat berries as soon as they begin to ripen. And black bears eat last year's berries and nuts, look for insects and grubs, and hunt small animals. In the summer, grizzlies fish in rivers and streams, eat berries, grasses, and flowers, and hunt small animals, while black bears eat berries, nuts, mushrooms, and other plants, hunt small animals, and eat honey from wild beehives. In the fall, grizzlies stock up for the winter by gathering berries, nuts, and roots and hunting large animals. Black bears also stock up for winter by gathering berries, nuts, and acorns and eating carrion. Grizzlies hibernate in the winter and live off stored fat. Black bears also hibernate, but not as soundly as grizzlies, and sometimes come out of hibernation long enough to eat. Did you know that grizzlies can eat up to 150 pounds of salmon per day? That's around 300 whole salmon. Black bears can climb trees to reach berries and nuts. Bears are an important factor that affect the populations of other animals in Yellowstone Park. Many funny stories happen with bears due to the fact that there are people in Yellowstone all the time. One example, a grizzly bear decided to ride on the roof of a car that had been parked in a parking lot near one of the geysers. The bear climbed on the roof and it started riding back and forth like a swing until it broke the roof and fell inside the car. The car owner was shocked when he saw that his car had turned into a bear cave. One day, a grizzly bear decided to play soccer with a soda water bottle he found on the road. The bear tossed the bottle with his nose, paws, and teeth as if he were a professional soccer player. He was so engrossed in the game that he didn't notice when a ranger drove up to him and asked him to clean up the trash. He obediently took the bottle in his teeth and carried it off into the woods. Sometimes bears like to peek at people who live in cabins or campgrounds in the park. One day, a black bear went to the window of one of the cabins and watched people cooking dinner inside. The bear was so interested he pressed himself up against the glass and started licking it as if he wanted to taste the food. The people inside the cabin were very surprised and scared when they looked up and saw the bear's face in the window. Yellowstone Park is home to whooper swans among the geysers, thermal springs, and wildlife. These graceful birds with snow-white plumage and long necks add a touch of grace and charm to the rugged beauty of this place. Swans are a symbol of Yellowstone. They can be seen in many photographs and postcards of the park. Interestingly, Yellowstone swans are not afraid of people. They often swim up to boats and launches begging for food. so tourists can get a special treat by feeding these magnificent birds. However, swans can become aggressive if they feel their chicks are being threatened, so be careful not to frighten them. Swans are excellent swimmers and divers. They feed on aquatic plants, fish, and small animals. The birds nest on the banks of water bodies. The female will lay anywhere from 5 to 7 eggs, from which chicks hatch in 35 to 40 days. Swans are an important part of Yellowstone Park's ecosystem. They clear algae from water bodies and are food for some predators such as bears and bobcats. Swan watching is one of Yellowstone Park visitors' favorite activities. These graceful birds are mesmerizing with their fluid movements. Their loyalty to each other and their care for their young will touch your heart. Let's tell you about some of the funny stories we've heard about the swans of Yellowstone. One time, a trumpeter swan decided to take up residence on the roof of a building in the park that had been abandoned and was covered in snow. The swan made a nest out of branches and grass and began incubating eggs. The park staff were very surprised to see the swan on the roof and decided not to get involved until after it had hatched its chicks. Once a trumpeter swan decided to join a group of tourists who were boating on a lake. The swan swam up to the boat and began swimming alongside it as if it was part of the tour. Tourists were delighted with the majestic bird and started taking pictures of him and feeding him bread. The swan was very friendly and not afraid of people. Sometimes swans like to play hide and seek with other birds that live in the park. One day a whooper swan hid under a bridge and started making loud noises as if it were in trouble. Other birds, ducks, geese, and crane, flew up to the bridge to see what was wrong. As they approached, the swan jumped out from underneath the bridge and chased them as if he wanted to scare them. The birds scattered in different directions. And the swan went back under the bridge as if nothing had happened. Yellowstone swans are a symbol of the beauty and majesty of wildlife. Meeting them is an unforgettable experience that will stay with you for a lifetime. Yellowstone National Park is home to 2 species of deer, wapiti and mule deer. These graceful animals are an integral part of the park's ecosystem, beautifying its landscape and adding an element of wild beauty. The wapiti is the largest species of deer in North America. Males will reach 2.5 meters in length and weigh up to 700 kilograms. Females are slightly smaller. The wapiti has a brownish coat with a white spot on the croup. Males have antlers that they shed and regrow every year. Mule deer are smaller than the wapiti deer. Males reach 1.7 meters in length and weigh only up to 150 kilograms. Females are slightly smaller. Mule deer have a grayish-brown fur with a white spot on the tail. Males have antlers that they do not shed. Deer in Yellowstone Park play an important role in the ecosystem. They are food for wolves, bears, and cougars, and also affect the park's vegetation. Did you know that deer are excellent swimmers? They're very hardy and social animals. As with many of the park's animals, deer have some funny stories associated with them. One time, a wapiti deer, out of curiosity, decided to visit a hotel that was located in the park. The deer walked through the front door and started wandering the hallways as if it were a guest. He even went into some of the rooms where he laid down on the bed and started watching TV. The hotel staff was very surprised to see the deer in the building and tried to take it outside. However, the deer did not want to leave and continued to enjoy the hotel's amenities, at least for a while. Another time, a wapiti deer decided to join a wedding ceremony that was taking place on the lawn in front of one of the buildings in the park. The deer approached the bride and groom, started sniffing around as if he wanted to congratulate him. He also tried to nibble on the bride's flower-decorated bouquet. The bride and groom were shocked but delighted by the unexpected guest. They even took some photos with him, which became quite the hit on the internet. And sometimes deer turn from prey to hunters. One day, a mule deer decided to chase a wolf that was looking for prey. The deer chased the wolf through the woods as if he wanted to catch it. The wolf was frightened and tried to run away from the unexpected pursuer. However, the deer was persistent and kept up with the predator. This continued until the wolf found refuge in his pack. In general, watching the wild animals of the park can be endless, just like life at Yellowstone. Yellowstone Park is not just a place on the map. It is a special world full of life and beauty. Here the earth breathes, the geysers throb, and wild animals live in their element. Visiting Yellowstone is not just a trip, it is an adventure that changes people's lives. Here you'll realize the majesty of nature, the fragility of life, and the importance of protecting it. Yellowstone is an area where you can discover a new world, a world that will stay in your heart forever. Here you can find inspiration, solace, strength, and beauty. Yellowstone is a unique sanctuary that you'll want to return to again and again. to immerse yourself in its mysterious atmosphere. Come to Yellowstone, discover this amazing park, and feel its unique power and beauty.